All right, listen up. This is a restricted briefing. You're going through a critical system update right now. It's called puberty. And today, we are declassifying the one guide you absolutely need to navigate the most complex piece of hardware you'll ever deal with, the parent. This is your user manual. And everything from here on out is on a need-to-know basis.
First, let's talk about the main system conflict. You've probably felt this malfunction, right? One minute, your brain's going, I need space, let me be independent. And the very next, it's flashing this big red alert that says, wait, hold on, that's scary, come back. Don't worry, this is a totally standard feature of the puberty update. Your brain is literally rewiring itself. And those two drives, the need for independence and the need to belong, they're in a constant wrestling match.
Okay, so to get a handle on all this, we have to start by understanding the primary hardware. Welcome to Section 1, Basic Specifications. Before you can operate any system, you've got to understand its core programming. So let's dig into the core processor. Now, on the outside, parents look like fully functional, logical adults. But internally, their emotional processor is, well, it's basically mush. They run on these things called nostalgia protocols, constantly pulling up old files of when you were tiny and thought they were cooler than Wi-Fi. This is a really critical vulnerability you need to be aware of. Okay, check this out. This is how the parental OS actually processes what you do. When you, the user, push for a little independence, their internal logic board kind of short circuits. It kicks off this protocol that's like, I want them to fly, but what if they just stayed forever? And something as simple as a quick hug? Whoa, that triggers an instant heart melt sequence. Understanding this whole input-output system is absolutely the key to making things run smoothly. And that brings us right to Section 2, Basic Operations. Think of these as the actionable protocols you can use for smooth functionality and to, prevent any major system crashes. So here's your basic maintenance plan, just 4 simple steps. First, you've got to deploy tiny affection boosts. We're talking quick high fives, a random love ya, super low effort. Second, establish clear boundaries so they know the rules of engagement. Third, apply regular humor updates. And finally, administer a reassurance patch. This one is key for soothing their core programming.
Now, this is a perfect example of that humor update protocol in action. Using humor is kind of like a shield, right? It lets you set the boundaries you need while keeping that connection alive. It's basically a way of saying, I still love you, without having to, actually say it in front of people, which can be, let's be honest, socially catastrophic.
And this is what we call setting boundaries like a ninja. It's all about negotiation. You're acknowledging their need for affection, but you are defining the terms. A fist bump at school drop-off keeps your cool status intact, while the promise of a real hug later, that totally satisfies their connection meter. It's a win-win. And finally, we have the reassurance patch. This is your secret weapon, really. It's the go-to command to stop that I'm losing my baby panic subroutine from completely taking over their system. A simple, whispered line just like this is incredibly effective. It's direct, it's funny, and trust me, it works. Okay, moving on to Section 3, Troubleshooting. This is where we cover error handling and some advanced cheats for when the system gets a little unstable. A word of caution, use these tools responsibly. You gotta pay close attention to these system warning alerts. If you ignore the parent unit for too long, it can trigger the parent's sadness glitch. Too much distance, and they might just deploy full embarrassment mode in public. And we've all been there. Oh, and sarcasm overload? That's a known cause for the dreaded, why are you so moody? Infinite error loop. Avoid at all costs. Now for the pro tips. This is secret system knowledge, so listen up. Here's the big one. They are secretly 100% proud of your independence. Seriously, they just need these small, regular reminders that you're still their people. And remember this. A tiny moment of affection, a quick hug, sharing a funny meme, it has a huge, disproportionately positive effect on their system stability. And that brings us to our final objective in Section 4, the update for coexistence. The goal here isn't to control the hardware. It's to achieve a stable, functional system where all units, that's you and them, can coexist peacefully. Now, this next part is a critical maintenance requirement, so pay attention. A minimum of just one hug per week is required to prevent a full emotional shutdown of the parent unit. Consider this a non-negotiable part of your weekly maintenance schedule. It's such a small input for a massive system benefit. And look, let's be super clear about something. The The point of this manual is not to turn you into some kind of brown noser. It's about strategic management. It's about letting them love you, but with the volume turned way down, from like a level 10 to a much more manageable level 2. It's all about quiet affection.
And this is the ultimate outcome, right? This is what happens when you successfully implement the manual. You get to stay cool, they get to stay calm, and maybe most importantly, everyone survives puberty. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement that leads to total system-wide stability.
So, you now have the intel, you have the protocols. The hardware is complex and the mission is absolutely critical, but the tools are in your hands. So the only question that's left is, are you ready to begin?